Tonight, we begin with something very simple: the quiet nature of space. Space is often imagined as a place filled with dramatic explosions, bright stars, and powerful forces. And while those things do exist, space, in its natural state, is profoundly quiet. Sound requires a medium to travel. On Earth, sound moves through air. Air molecules vibrate, and those vibrations reach our ears. But space is almost completely empty. The density of particles in interstellar space is incredibly low. In many regions, there are only a few atoms per cubic centimeter. For comparison, the air around you contains roughly 10 quintillion molecules per cubic centimeter. Because there are so few particles in space, sound waves cannot effectively travel. This means that if you were floating between the planets, even if two massive objects collided nearby, you would not hear it. The universe in most places is silent. Stars, where intense radiation and energy are released, the sound does not travel in the way we experience on Earth. Astronauts aboard spacecraft do hear sounds, but those sounds travel through the structure of the spacecraft itself. Through metal, through air inside the cabin. Outside the spacecraft, there is silence. The vacuum of space is not perfectly empty, but it is close enough that sound cannot propagate in a meaningful way. This silence has existed for billions of years. For nearly 13.8 billion years since the beginning of the observable universe, most of space has remained a quiet expanse. Even when stars explode as supernova, releasing more energy in a moment than our sun will in its entire lifetime, the event unfolds in silence across the vacuum. The concept of silence in space is one of its most calming truths. There are no winds between the planets, no rustling leaves, no distant traffic. No echoes, just stillness. Even solar winds, streams of charged particles flowing from the sun, do not create audible sound in open space. They are particles, not pressure waves. In some regions of space, temperatures can drop to just a few degrees above absolute zero. At those temperatures, particle motion slows dramatically. Cold, dark, and quiet. The space between galaxies is even emptier. In intergalactic space, there may be fewer than 1 atom per cubic meter. Imagine a volume the size of your entire room, containing just a single atom. That is how sparse the universe can be. Because of this sparsity, the universe feels vast, not only in size, but in stillness. Silence dominates, and yet, this quiet emptiness allows light to travel freely. Light from distant galaxies travels millions, sometimes billions of years, across this silent void. Without interruption. The silence of space does not mean inactivity. Gravity still works. Stars still burn. Galaxies still rotate. But all of it happens without sound. Even Earth, when viewed from space, is silent. From orbit, our planet appears peaceful. White clouds drift slowly. Oceans shimmer in reflected sunlight. But none of its noise escapes into the vacuum. The atmosphere holds our sounds close. Space begins just about 100 kilometers above Earth's surface, at a boundary known as the Kármán line. Beyond that line, the air thins so much that aerodynamic flight becomes impossible. And beyond that boundary, sound fades away. if you were floating just beyond the atmosphere, watching lightning storms flash below you. You would see the light, but hear nothing. Stars. Between galaxies. The Milky Way galaxy itself spans about 100,000 light-years across. And yet most of that space is empty and quiet. Stars are separated by immense distances. Our nearest stellar neighbor, Proxima Centauri, is about 4.24 light-years away. Between us and that star, there is almost nothing. Just darkness and silence. And so as you rest tonight, imagine that vast quiet, a universe where motion happens slowly, where distances are unimaginable, where silence has ruled for billions of years. There is something deeply calming about that truth. The universe does not rush. It does not hurry. It expands slowly. It rotates gradually. It evolves over cosmic timescales. And in that vast quiet,